Being the richest man in the world, you'd think buying Twitter would have been a piece of cake for tech investor and billionaire Elon Musk. Of course, it might have been a piece of cake, but $44 billion isn't just something you'd cough up, even if you are the world's wealthiest man. So yes, buying Twitter was kind of a stretch for Elon Musk, and thanks to his currency, Tesla's shares, and some other lenders, he pulled what would be known as the most radical takeover in our generation. But how does Musk's buying Twitter put Tesla at risk? Let's find out. This is Elon Musk News, your go-to place for all things Elon and his companies. Leave a like and subscribe, and let's get into it. It's interesting to know that Elon Musk buying Twitter will bring lots of financial risks to Tesla. But do you know what else would be interesting? But not as much as this. How Musk was able to buy Twitter. Call it the most radical takeover in tech history, but it cost $44 billion. That's something. According to the deal, Musk promised equity of $21 billion. In case you don't know what that is, it's risk capital. But how's Musk planning to get it? Would he sell more Tesla stocks like he did when he generated $8.5 billion? Perhaps he would leverage his friends who are billionaires or hedge funds, or ultimately use his Tesla stock as collateral. Even this is problematic. Did you know that almost, if not half, of Musk's 174 million Tesla stock has been used as collateral already by him? This was according to regulatory filings from Tesla. So let's say 50% of his Tesla stock is gone. To purchase Twitter, Musk had to pledge another 40% of his stock to secure loans. Funny how Musk is just left with 10% of his stock, which, following Tesla's policies, is only valued at about $5 billion. This is not the worth of the whole share, but it is only 25% of its value that is borrowable. But then, Musk currency, Tesla's stock, is quite overvalued as most critics believe, and is also declining very fast. Using it to buy Twitter poses quite a problem for both Tesla and Musk himself. The first is that Tesla stock is declining so fast. Then there's also the fact that he's overvaluing Twitter. Why? Before Musk, we don't know about after yet, but Twitter had no form of earnings, and in fact has lost so much money as the company's user growth rapidly declined. Because the company had no earnings, it is impossible to calculate the company's price-to-earnings ratio. However, Musk plans to grow the company and monetize it. Even that would be a difficult task. But he's Musk, after all, and difficult is not a term associated with him. How will Elon Musk do it, seeing that Twitter is not even allowed in one of the biggest markets, the Chinese market? Of course, it's because of their censorship that has caused many younger generations to run to social media platforms like Snapchat and TikTok. With the European Union taking steps to control and limit hate speech and misinformation, and hopes of the United States regulators following suit, this might prove more difficult for Musk. If you had $44 billion and were able to take out a loan of the said amount, what would you do? Not buy Twitter. Come to think of it, how's Elon Musk planning to service those loans? Musk was able to get $25.5 billion from a combination of 12 lenders. About $13 billion comes from 4 distinct revolving credit institutions and term bridges. And the remaining $12.5 billion was acquired as a margin loan secured with Tesla shares as collateral. This is not all. Recall the $21 billion in equity? This Musk agreed to pay in cash. But where's all the money coming from? You guessed it right, Tesla. Musk wouldn't have been able to get that amount of funds from the bank if he didn't have collateral that was 5 times worth more than the requested loan amount. So for $12.5 billion, Musk needed to have $62.5 billion worth of collateral. And where did he get it from? You guessed it right again, Tesla. You do believe now that buying Twitter for Musk meant risking Tesla. Before Musk finalized the deal, Tesla stock sold at $1,001 per share. So to provide the $62.5 billion worth of collateral, he needed 62 million shares. But as Tesla stock prices dropped to $871 for just one share, Musk will have to tie up more stock than he had in mind, in the value of about $72 million, to reach the safety cushion of his lenders. But what's the risk to Tesla exactly, apart from Musk using up all his shares as collateral? The deal of using his Tesla shares holds several pitfalls, many of which Musk might have seen beforehand. One of such is a quick plummet in the value of Tesla stock, which might force the tech investor to hurriedly dump his Tesla shares. Part of the agreement with Musk's lenders entails that if the value of the collateral Musk uses to secure the loan drops by half, which is $36.35 billion, Musk will be left with no choice but to receive a margin call. These margin calls would force Elon Musk to get minimum cash of $14 billion or sell his shares. With the money he makes from the sale, he would have to reduce the margin loan by paying some cash to significantly restore the ratio of loan to value. And since Musk can't use more shares to close the gap created from the loss in value, he would need to sell off a very big part of his Tesla shares to face the margin call. Before, that can only happen if Tesla has lost about 40% of its value to say around $500 per share. However, in the scenario if it happens, Musk will have no choice but to unload over 10 million of his Tesla shares, not only to close the margin loan, but also to cover taxes that will be incurred as well. And should the price of the margin lower, the more Tesla stocks Musk will have to sell. We all know that selling stocks of a company in such frequent or large numbers is unhealthy for the stock price and poses a terrible risk to the company. And when it happens, investors will fear the possibility of more dumping, which would affect the stock price even more. As a guarantee, Musk's lenders have taken critical actions to protect their interests. They have successfully secured personal guarantees that cover all of Musk's assets. So they stand not to lose much in the happenstance of a loss in the value of Tesla's stock or Elon's currency. Although the banks have protected themselves, what about the owners of Tesla? Or worse still, the investors? One thing is certain, if Musk's most valuable asset happens to be Tesla's stocks, then the investors and shareholders of Tesla are done for. But if nothing happens to Tesla's stock price, then the whole borrowing to buy Twitter would work out just fine. But even that's somewhat difficult to believe, seeing that with the announcement of Musk's intention to buy Twitter with Tesla's share, the stock dwindled by 15% down to $870 from $1,001 per share. While most analysts and investors see this as just a coincidence, others believe it resulted in fear of the electric car maker's stock getting entangled in Musk's misadventures with the social media company. So if Tesla's stocks stay at $1,001 per share or above, then no one has anything to lose, not even Tesla's investors and shareholders. But if by chance, for whatever reason, the stock price of Tesla's shares drops, then both Musk and Tesla are in trouble, and they stand to compromise the automaker's inherent leverage ratio as collateral. Not as if we want that, but if it ever drops to half the original price when the deal was signed, then definitely the banks might demand him to ante up extra collateral to his already 60 million shares. As we said earlier, this would cause him to sell off some of his Tesla shares, which is not good for the company. But can this get any worse? Of course. If Tesla's stocks dwindle below half their price or more than 60%, then Musk's lenders might ask that he repay the money immediately. You don't need a degree from a business school to understand what this means. However, for Musk to immediately repay his debt, he'll be forced to sell off Tesla's shares. The more shares he sells, the further he depresses the share price of the company, which would ultimately cause investors to shift or bail from the stock. People still believe Musk is in no way risking Tesla, as he plans to make the company profitable and hence pay off his debt. With the harsh critics, it makes one wonder if the world's wealthiest man can pull this off. This raises a cascade of questions atop questions, with the most interesting being the most difficult to answer. How possible is it for Tesla's stock to decline further? Do you think Mr. Musk can pull this off? Let us know in the comments section below, and remember to like and subscribe for more Elon Musk news.